We now know everything about the new Season 3 class for Century called the Rhineblood, and I have to say that our new furry friend sounds a little bit overpowered. Let's break him down. The Rhineblood's passive ability is called Draconic Roar, and this ability lets you keep on casting your Flame Breath when it runs out at the cost of stamina. This is a pretty unique passive ability, as the ones we've seen so far for other classes just happen on their own, while this one you can actually choose to use or not. I guess in reality that makes it a borderline active/passive ability. Do you want to sacrifice some of your mobility for a bit of extra damage? Might be worth it if the enemy is just one tick away from dying. The Rhineblood's power is called Hallowed Hailstorm. With this you hurl a lingering ice trail, I'm guessing in front of you, which provides a damage boost to allies and impairs the steering of enemies that it touches for a few seconds. I'm guessing that the latter effect will be pretty much the same as that of the Marauders and Stormrazer's Frostbolts. This sounds like it's going to have a huge impact in the Gates of Fire game mode, seeing as it both slows enemies and boosts allies. A well-aimed ice trail should see your team take out the enemy flag carrier just like that. The Rhineblood's rage is called Hallowed Blizzard, and like we're used to already, this is just a monstrous version of the power, and this is where things get really interesting. This applies the effect of Hallowed Hailstorm to all allies and enemies regardless of their position on the map, meaning that all your allies will receive damage boosts while all of your enemies will have their steering impaired. Overpowered much? A well-timed use of this rage can turn the tide in pretty much all game modes. This has the potential to single-handedly destroy entire teams in survival and give your own flag carrier in Gates of Fire a huge head start on the chasing enemy team. Of course, this all depends how big that damage boost actually is and how much it impacts steering, but I'm already calling it and saying that this will most likely receive a nerf or two in the future. Let me know in the comments if you think that this is overpowered. Both of the Rhineblood's abilities are brand new. I would kind of have expected to see Frostbolts on this guy, but alas, Playwing didn't go down the lazy road. The abilities are called Feral Charge and Winter's Judgment. With Feral Charge you make a deadly rush on a locked enemy, both dealing damage and knocking them back. I'm not quite sure what locked enemy means in this regard, but I'm guessing it means that you lock onto the enemy, much like the Windguard does with her Salvation Surge, and then swoop in on them. This is going to be really useful against any kind of carriers like in Gates of Fire or against those holding different items in Spoils of War. Not only because of the damage and knockback, but also because of the gap closer. I wonder if you can time this together with Hallowed Hailstorm to also impact the steering of your enemies. I'm excited to try it out. The Winter's Judgment ability can be used on both allies or enemies. It launches a tracking projectile that increases fireballs and flame breaths regeneration for an ally or drains them for an enemy. As per the wording, this can only be used on one ally or one enemy. Nonetheless, this sounds like a really strong ability for defending your flag carriers in Gate of Fire. This is all the skills of the Rhineblood. This class really has the potential to turn the entire meta on its head from day one. It's got some really strong buffs and debuffs that I'm quite excited to see in action, and it's also the first support class that's not a healer. I'm giving that a big thumbs up. I'll be here covering everything about Season 3, so stay tuned, and in the meantime go watch this video right here where I talk about the big change to dragons and riders that's also coming in Season 3.